and tricks for those raiding monks in
Fist of Fury. It's go time.
It is go time. We're going to talk today about Hans and Franz.
We gonna pump you up.
Yeah, no, pump you up. Let's do it right.
There we go.
There we are. Okay.
I've never done that boss with the sound on yet, but people keep telling me to do so, and I keep forgetting. But
the audio is pretty nice, and there's nothing else to do on that fight. So, besides run around with a chicken with your head cut off. So, all right. Well, let's go into Brewmasters. Who wants to take it first?
do you want to go, Lulu?
Sure, I guess I will start with this. When you see your co-tank getting picked up and screaming like a little girl for externals, just go ahead and toss a guard on as soon as the boss stops melee swinging you to maximize the size of the guard you get from Resolve, so it doesn't decay too much, and then you can basically ignore the mechanic exists. Don't be afraid to use Transcendence for a quick getaway. If you put it somewhere on another nice strip that doesn't move, and you suddenly find out that you are about to be stamped and or pop-tarted, you can get away pretty quickly with that. And then roll is your best friend for moving around and whatnot. You have anything to add to that, Mesame?
You stole mine. I was going to do the Transcendence one.
Well, you're a piece of poop, so meh.
Personally, when we did it on Mythic, I personally think you should be taking the boss the entire time during the stamping phases, just because your melee will love you when the boss leaps over to the other side of the room and all of a sudden he's running twice as fast back to you when you provoke him. So you should definitely be taking the boss in that phase. I would say I would add a dampen harm to those suplexes because they do slightly hurt in Mythic, like not as much as if anyone else, but I would definitely recommend that.
Do you want to go ahead and move into the talents and glyph sections too? Because that's actually.
Do you want me to do it? Oh, is
go
it?
ahead.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fine.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I got you. I got you.
You backing me up? Okay, I got you there.
Got you.
Yeah, dampen harm, definitely I want to go for Brewmaster there. Like, it just makes the entire mechanic a complete joke. I'd say Tiger's Lust over Celerity. I know that you mentioned Celerity for that one, Blue, but Tiger's Lust personally is a little bit better because you can help out the slower members of your raid, aka the Druids, who are tranking the entire time. I mean, I don't know if that's anyone else, but that just seems way out ones to me. Juen, definitely. And I would personally glyph Touch of Death as well for that extra little boost at the end. As for Serenity or Chi Explosion, it comes down to whatever you feel personal. I did mine with Serenity, but it's very easily doable with Chi Explosion there.
All right. Got anything to add to that, Blue?
No, I'm a big proponent of Tiger's Lust. I just know there's some people out there who do enjoy Celerity. So I figured I'd mention that.
Okay.
Because that tier is all about us being individuals. So that we can tell you that you're wrong.
Yeah, but Tiger's Lust lets you individually share with the raid. Like, that's how it works. Like,
that's to tell you your wrong part. So
I always argue that, like, Tiger's Lust, you should take it because you can use it on a slow raid member, and I don't think I've ever used it on anyone other than myself. But I like to argue that you can.
I'd like to think. But it's there. You have it.
Like,
it can be useful, just like a priest can be useful with life grip.
I used it on the tanks on Garage when they were like kiting around the ads. I used
did
that
it
on
by
them.
accident. Like, I did it by accident the other day. I was soloing Heroic Siege of Orgrimmar, and I was doing a Mercius, and I targeted one of the healing ads, and I healed it to full. And I went to Tiger's Lust to the next like pack of ads, and all of a sudden, like, the healing like ad just sprinted to the middle, and I Tiger's Lusted it instead. And I was like, all right, that's cool, that's great. Like, I wasted so much time. I was like, at least he got to the center quicker. Like, that was nice of him.
Right. All right. Let's go to Windwalker.
Windwalker, Hans and Franz. Hey guys, you know that Cleve fight we had in Primal? This is similar. This is cool, you know. So we got these two guys. You're gonna want to really pay attention to Storm, Earth, and Fire on this fight. They are together for a lot of the time, especially if your tanks are doing it right by putting them together. But when they go all jumpy, you know, being all nimbly bimbly,
Right.
jumping about, your clone might have issues. Bring it back, put it back on, apply TP, Rising Sun Kick. You just have to keep track of that for maximum uptime when you can actually damage him. Remember, your clone, during Fist of Fury, doesn't move like you do, so pay attention to that as well. That's the only big thing for being a Windwalker on this fight. That's the only thing that makes us really special, I feel.
With Storm, Earth, and Fire, I've been Windwalking this fight for a while, and It's rough because one of them will just jump left and right, and your clone is just walking on over, wasting a ton of uptime. You're doing 60% damage on your boss. I mean, when I usually put them at the very beginning because they're there for a good chunk of time. It seems like there's only two little parts of that fight where you're not wasting a ton of damage with Storm, Earth, and Fire. Is that accurate?
The Fist of Fury bit, I mean, obviously that's going to outrange for sure, but I mean, they are moving quickly, and I think we have to kind of test it to see if it's best to bring them back as they're jumping around. So you're not just doing less damage. Tiger, Storm, Earth, and Fire uptime on a lot of the higher level parses is pretty high in this fight still. So it just might be that as they're jumping around, the clone might be just at a long enough range because of the mechanic where as soon as you send it out, it's doing damage, right? Like they fix that to stop the lag. So that might be playing into that, partly as well.
Yeah, it's when I'm using Storm, Earth, and Fire, I'm tending to focus on Chi Explosion, so that way they're at least hitting them with that. So that's something to pay
and
attention
then going into the talents, this is a good Chi Explosion fight. You have a shared health pool. Unlike other fights, so because of the different phases and the fact that they're moving around and you need that kind of burst damage, a lot of people are taking Chi Brew with Chi Explosion. Because we don't need that long time energy regen. You need that burst power. And so getting that extra Chi to get another Chi Explosion off, especially when they're jumping around, because you got 30, 40 yards range on that, it's really important.
So I'm going to say something crazy here, Air, and feel free to smack me down when I say something completely crazy.
I've only DPS this a couple times as a Windwalker.
What about Hurricane Strike?
Does it hit hard enough?
Well, the reason I would call for this is during a lot of the fights, you only have a certain window where you can actually do DPS because you're running around, chasing them around half the time. And I feel like the moments when we do have it and can converge our trinkets and our Tiger Eye Brew and everything and hit Hurricane Strike might make up for the lack of Chi Explosion. But I always come back to the fact that 90% of the time you need to be able to hit them from range, so Chi Explosion is up. So if you're out there, if you're paying attention, Windwalkers, try Hurricane Strike, see how your numbers fare.
I'm just looking now to see if there's any Windwalkers who have actually used Hurricane Strikes on that fight.
I tried it on Saturday for a couple wipes, and I didn't get very good numbers, but it wasn't a full fight. So
I want Hurricane Strikes to work because it looks pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. I wish we could use it more.
Right. I do too.
Okay, there's literally one Windwalker who's cleared Mythic who used Hurricane Strikes, and he's ranked 214.
Well, that's not bad.
I'm going to have to see how many he's actually out of, though, because it could be out of 215 or some shit.
Right, that's true.
That's out of 315, so it's a 32nd percentile par, so at least he's doing something different. Go him. He's trying.
So most people are using Chi Explosion and Chi Brew for this. Dampen Harm is good because you can live through getting stamped on if you happen to be rolling the wrong direction. It's paying attention to this movement. There's a lot of movement in this fight. Theoretically, you really have to pay attention to 4 squares the entire fight. You can do it all from that little bit right there. And I like Tiger's Lust. So I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, see, I go Celerity on this one just for that third crap roll. So, but that's just me.
Oh, I found another monk using it. He's ranked 7,592.
Gosh.
So I mean, we can back that
they're
up.
out there.
They're out there.
They're unicorns.
Hurricane Strike monks
look
are
for
out
them
there.
and find them.
It's a 6% up pars, but he's out there.
All right, well, let's move on to Mistweaver. So, Life Cocoon on this one. As LeBlue had mentioned, someone who's crying for an external, that's when you want to save when they're doing the suplex. If your tanks are a Brewmaster, don't bother. Save it for someone who gets stamped. But otherwise, if you have other tanks, definitely use it there. I like Chi Torpedo on this fight because you're going to be moving around a lot, so you might as well get some healing out of it. And, of course, Celerity would go with that, as always. And as Air said, Dampen Harm, definitely have to go with that because if just in case you're out of Chi Torpedo movements and your Transcendence is not in a good spot, then pop it and you can survive those stamps, no problem. That's another thing to note. Transcendence, use it on this fight. Use it and love it. We say this every time. Put it somewhere where you hope is going to be safe, and if you're not going to be safe, you can pop over there and then get stamped anyways. But you have dampen harm up for that, so that's good. All right, let's move